Hello, this is a video response to TheGentalmanGamer's video games as inspiration for tabletop role-playing games. Only nothing comes from a void. And what I mean by that is, we take inspiration from things around us, such as the books that we read, the movies that we watch, and the games that we play. So it surprises me when I hear about tabletop gamers poo-pooing the idea of video games as a legitimate medium to get inspiration from, especially since they both go so hand in hand together very well. In a video game, you can learn about the environment that you're in, setting, and the characters far more in depth and naturally than you ever could with a movie or book. Now, as for making a RPG tabletop version from a video game, drawing video games as inspiration for that, I've done a couple of those. Started actually with Bioshock. I found an anonymous posting once on a website I frequent, where someone asked to make a help them with a BRP version of pre-Fall Rapture. So it would be just about before the Civil War happens, and it would build up to that. And I just helped them out with, let me see, I made stats for a Big Daddy, just the standard first ones, like the Balancer type, I think it was, the one with the drill for the hand. I also helped them build a rule set for how to use genes, what would splicing do. So when you use a splice, you would gain a power, you run a percentage risk of getting a physical change to your body, and this physical change can lower your appearance, and as well as if it lowers your appearance to an extent, or depending on the splicing in question, the power that you get, this can also affect you mentally, thus giving you sanity loss. So I wrote up a small rule set for him and gave him that out for free. It was very fun. I rather enjoyed it a lot, and I ended up working on a couple others. Another one was XCOM. I tried making a BRP version of the original XCOM series, with the idea that you players play both as foot soldiers in a squad, so they would probably at least be like, one would be an officer, and he'd be able to command everybody else, then they'd be all in tiers. And you can expand on it a lot more, I found, with a tabletop setting that I rather enjoyed, since there were things like the NPCs in the old XCOM were just idiots. They ran around and they were just cannon fodder. It was actually, game-wise, mechanically speaking, it was far better to just kill the NPCs than it was to let them roam around and get eaten by chrysalids and making more chrysalids. So, at least in a tabletop setting, you could have people react legitimately. You can have people standing in fear and shock when they see something, or your players can naturally say, come to the chopper, come to the chopper, they can run to the vertibird or whatever. You can have militant groups, police forces, armies. There's a lot of variety to this, and you can even expand, like how corporations handle with you giving out these technologies, what would governments do with these technologies that your forces are using. So there was a lot of fun with that, and then also there was you can get away from the hard, violent, dangerous combat that BRP would bring to a XCOM game and allow them to build bases and stuff. I didn't finish the rule set. I was mostly stuck on converting the weapons into proper BRP weaponry numbers and skill sets. But one game I did actually build a lot upon using BRP, because it's my favorite system to work with, was a Fallout game. Originally, when I was playing Fallout 3, I started learning how to program a bit and try and make my own version of it. And I wanted to make one set in my hometown, in Miami, Florida. So I worked on Fallout Miami for a bit, but I didn't get far on the physical video game. But I had so much core material. I mean, right here is just paperwork and paperwork. Loads and loads and loads of paperwork of notes of just what was the setting, where does it take place, what's the environment like, what happened during the war, what happened before the war, and what happened after the war. What is this? What are the civilizations of the group, and what do the players do? What are their roles? Well, in that setting, you play as a team of vault dwellers who are the vault you're living in is ready to open. It's the time to open up. And you are the team that's supposed to go out. Your mission at the beginning is to first establish what's around this base, what's around your vault, learn about the immediate area, then establish a radio seek connection so that the team can report back to base, and then at that point they start to establish a small settlement inside the base, around the vault. Think of like if you played Fallout 2, think of what Vault City was. Try to imagine what Vault City must have been like before Fallout 2. So in between Fallout 1 and 2, there was Vault City opened up, and you never met it in 1, but naturally it had to have an expedition team to look out and see what in the world's all around us, what's happening here, and then building a settlement, opening up a perimeter. Then the players would be tasked to learn lay of the land, find other vaults, to establish communications, figure out what's the situation, what's the economy like around here, and that entailed would bring them into the world that I had developed for it. And there were a number of places, missions, and people. I scored some notes and ideas on it, but it looked like a lot of fun. I'm still working on it every now and then, and I've always wanted to play it, but I've never had a chance to ever run a group with it. But someday I might like to. But anyway, that's my response to the video, and peace everyone.